I will count us down. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1, go!
Woo.
Clap, clap, clap. Alright, this is Ori. We're different colors now. I'm going to try and get a better one than dark blue. There we go. Alright, so this is a Metroidvania. And of course what that means is we start out with very few abilities. All we have right now is the ability to run and jump. But that's going to change fairly quickly here as we get started. Oh. Hit the diving board reset.
I got that several second restream delay, so that was good. It's enjoyable.
Alright, so we just picked up an energy cell there. That is, energy is going to be a resource that we use to do various things. Chief among them, for now at least, is going to be place saves. We get to place saves wherever we want throughout the entire game world. And now we have made it, after that intense battle with a rhino enemy, we've made it to our friend sign.
Yeah, so this is a Metroidvania, and we're going to be acquiring upgrades. We're going to our capabilities. We're going to start with basically nothing. We can make saves, but not much else. Sign here is going to give us access to the Spirit Flame attack, which is going to be kind of intended to be your main attack here. Shed gets a nice little purple color there, so he's going to fight off these Frankie enemies and make quick work of them, so he'll be able to head on out. And Shed, I don't understand the taste in colors.
It's the best color. This color code I've used to change my color here is in-game. Gives you a random one every time you use it. And I like the dark ones because they're great. It adds some extra challenge to the game.
Oh yeah, that's really what the game needs, dude.
Yeah.
More challenge.
Here we're gonna get some... Go ahead.
We're just gonna say the same thing. We're trying to make sure that we're down to 1 HP if possible, and also collect some experience points, the little yellow orbs along the way. And the HP is specifically so that when Shed gets over to the keystone door over here, they can drop in and put the keys in the door, save the game, and then take an intentional death, and that will actually cause the door to just not be there when they come back to life. So nice little quick time save, not having to watch that animation.
Yep. I'm also going to make a quick detour here to grab a health cell. This upgrades our health from 3 total to 4 total. Just some extra safety as we progress through the world. Do you want to talk about XP real quick?
Yeah, for sure. So this game has experience points, and as you gain experience points, you will get closer and closer to leveling up. Every time you level up, you're going to gain an ability point, which we're going to be making use of to learn abilities throughout the run, and you're also going to explode and deal a bunch of damage to everything on the screen. Around this area, you've seen a bunch of these purple brambles, spores, whatever you want to call them, and they are pretty annoying, and each one takes 2 shots to get rid of, and that's time consuming. So what Shed is going to be trying to do is time a level up down here on the way out from this area. So they picked up that XP from that flower and head on in. In fact, even picking up the XP from the dropping slime there. And as they're going to collect this skill here, they're at the proper XP sub to be able to get the level up on the way out.
Yep. And we've made it to the wall jump tree now. This is a location of another skill. Wall jump does what it says. We can jump on walls now. Ori's a particular flavor of wall jump allows us to jump up single walls like this. And I'm going to grab another energy cell, so now we're up to 2 of those. You can mention the UI now, that'd be good.
Yeah, for sure. So the UI is hidden normally in the bottom middle of the screen. You would have little counters for how much health and energy, which Shed just flashed on the screen for you there. And you can see how much XP you have towards the next level as well. So Shed's going to pick up the XP and get that level up and explode all those brambles and just get them out of the way. They're also still working on their XP count for a little bit later on. And while they continue to head over towards the next area, I will also mention about the UI that because the UI has not shown any text boxes that might show up where a sign might talk to you and waste a little bit of your time, will just not even show up, so you don't have to do any text mashing in this run.
Yep, it's very, very nice and convenient. We are now that we've collected wall jump, though, we're just going to completely ignore the path that the game wants us to take up to the spirit tree. We're going to head to an area that's unique to the definitive edition of the game called Blackroot Burrows, which is just over here. And right at the start, we're going to do a glitch called Save Anywhere. This I pull up this ability tree, which is sort of like an upgrade menu, and then perform the Save Anywhere glitch to allow myself to move around behind it. And what that actually lets us do is, by leveling up an ability, we can save the game in places that we're not supposed to, hence save anywhere. And notably, this skips cutscenes.
Yeah, exactly. So as we're going into Blackroot Burrow, Shed is going to be trying to kill a bunch of these little slimes. He wants to get a net of about 100 XP over the course of this area, so that that level up just there allowed him to kill a nearby slime.
Oh! Ow.
Okay, well, that's always unfortunate, but we'll just head on it back in. I do love the little delay there as you get locked into a brief cutscene animation.
Yep.
But the intent here is Shed is going to be trying to get to a certain range of a subsequent level up while also getting a level up inside this area and getting an ability point. So the level up that he just got is going to allow them to skip an ability. Skip a cutscene by leveling an ability in just a little bit. And then they're going to want a subsequent level up to be able to do a little bit of a trick later on. But for now, the important thing to note is that Shed actually entered this area with only 16 XP left to level, and that was actually important, and they're actually going to be specifically looking to collect one little extra bit of XP compared to what they normally would in a run, so they're just going to have to be aware of that.
I have no clue what these platform cycles look like right now, but we're going to wing it.
It's fine.
So this area, Blackroot Burrows, is a little bit slow. We end up waiting on platform cycles a lot, but the reason we come here so early is because we're going to collect a skill called Dash, and Dash, as its name might suggest, is very fast. And we're speedrunners, so we like to do the go fast thing.
Yeah, and of course, this category is the all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere category. So a brief explainer on that. All skills should be self-explanatory. The skills are the things that come from the skill trees, such as wall jump, which Shed just picked up a little bit ago, and dash, which we'll be getting shortly. And then there's a total of 11 of those, counting the Spirit Flame, which we got at the beginning. No out of bounds, no teleport anywhere. Out of bounds should be pretty self-explanatory. There are out of bounds in this game. Shed's actually pretty partial to those runs, but this particular speed run avoids those tricks. And then teleport anywhere is a major glitch that allows some other pretty significant skips. You would have to play significant parts of this run blind if you were doing that trick, so it's excluded from this category.
For reasons to make the game more fun to play for more people. Alright, so we're going to skip another cutscene here. I'm actually sort of skipping half the cutscene. I waited for a bit of it before skipping it, but that saves some time, allows us to get over here to the dash tree earlier. And now we have dash.
We're going to start going pretty fast.
Yeah, here we go. Zoom! I'm also going to be doing something called a dash glide. This lets me preserve some of the dash's momentum in the air. This is a kind of a tricky little thing that we do, where we dash and then go to neutral inputs and then jump, and that lets us do that. So it's a little bit precise, but I've done it enough that I'm fairly used to it. But now we're on Frankie Walk.
Indeed. So we're working on this trick called Frankie Walk, where you've got this enemy called a Frankie. It drops 19 experience points, and it just so happens, thanks to how Shed has set up their XP, they are less than 19 XP away from leveling. When you level up, in addition to exploding, you also refill your energy. Shed's only got 2 max energy. This door that they're coming towards on the right side here requires 4 energy to open, but if you put 2 energy into it and then level up right afterwards, you'll get a refill and be able to put 2 more energy in, and Shed is going to get through that door and head into a slightly later area of the game, saving a pretty decent chunk of time. And now they're going to go through
several minutes, basically.
Yeah, this section's really scary, by the way, and it is about a minute if you happen to die here, so hopefully our good bird friend Shed will be able to get on through to that energy cell, drop a save, and they're safe now.
Yeah, so we got another energy there. We're up to 3. Here is a tricky cycle. Easy. Never mind, not tricky at all.
Totally easy. No one's ever had problems with this except...
That saves about 8 seconds, just like literally everything in this game.
And we're already at the next skill here. We're going to be coming up to the double jump tree. As Shed's just making sure they don't take a death real quick there on those spikes, but dropping another save and taking intentional death at that keystone door to get through. That trick is called a ghost door.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, okay. Huh. And yeah, we were going to skip the cutscene here of the tree animation by using another glitch with learning ability, but just didn't quite get it off in time. Just do a little bit of a flub there, and that's totally fine. It's only about like 4 seconds.
That ramp threw me so off. I don't know what happened. All right, so now we have double jump. Double jump, again, does what it says. I can jump twice now. And you'll see me doing this on walls as well, which is faster than just single wall jumping up walls. But the walls in this area are also really annoying. There's a little of a, not little, it's actually quite large. Precise sequence of wall jumps there were called grotto skip. That skips the left half of this bottom area down here.
Yeah, now we're coming through this section where Gumo is dropping some rocks on us and trying to keep us from getting the water vein, the key to the first dungeon. And as we're going through here, there is a new type of cutscene skip we're doing. We got an ability called Rekindle that lets you reuse a save point you've already dropped. And what Shed can do is drop a save right next to a cutscene trigger, go to the trigger, and then rekindle the save while going into it. You've already seen it twice now, and we're going to be making a lot more use of it as well. But now we're picking up the water vein.
Yeah, we've got the water vein. It is the key to the first dungeon, which we are now headed towards. Also, as we progress through this area, we're supposed to have come through here already in the opposite direction. So we're going to start seeing some cutscenes happen in backwards order, and it's kind of funny. Gumo looks like he's just teleporting around.
There's a fair bit of this, too. The game is actually very resilient to all these sequence breaks we do. It's just like, yeah, that's fine. You can do whatever you want as long as you know, don't, like, I don't know, crash the game or something.
I can do that, too, if you want. A partially timed level up there to kill an enemy that's in our way, and then we're going to make a detour up here to get this ability cell. This ability cell basically equates to 1 level of XP without actually giving us any XP.
Yeah, in fact, it doesn't modify your level either, so the important part of that is just that it doesn't change how much you need to get your next level up.
Right.
Which is nice.
It gives us an ability point, which is what we're using to level up those abilities on the tree.
Yeah, and we're still focusing on both collecting ability cells to get those points and also level ups. We'll continue to be kind of monitoring our level ups the entire run, but from this point forward, it's pretty straightforward. There's not really much that Shed's going to need to do in order to make sure their XP lines up the way they want.
Yep, couple of XP pickups here and there, but no, nothing really precise.
All right, we're to the Gainso tree, Shed. This is I like this dungeon.
Are you gonna say it?
I don't. Yeah, verticality.
There we go. Done. Yeah, this is the first dungeon of the game. It is very vertically oriented. Has a lot of verticality, as we like to say. Sort of lets you immediately show off your double jumping skills.
This is also the site of the next skill tree, and in addition, it's the site of the next kind of story progression of the game. The general shape of the game is that there's 3 elements that have been kind of drained of their powers or whatever. There's you got to go to the 3 dungeons and restore the 3 elements, and each dungeon has a key. So you got to get the key to go to the dungeon to restore the elements, so then you can go get the next key and continue onwards. So we're in the first dungeon of we're actually going to complete about 1.25 of them, give or take. So as Shed gets through that kind of otter score puzzle, now we're coming to this mini boss area. It's just kind of a little bit tedious.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a skill called Charge Flame at this point, which would make fighting this boss a lot easier and faster, but we don't have it, so I just gotta kind of mash out these shots and kill him as fast as I can.
A little nice thing that's worth noting is Shed's got the Spirit Flame mapped to their scroll wheel, so
yeah,
it's just a little bit easier to do that mashing, which otherwise would just be, it's like 40 shots, so it's just not pleasant.
Alright, we're coming up on probably, maybe the most important, definitely the most unique skill that this game has to offer, which is going to be Bash. And what Bash is going to let me do is grab onto enemies, projectiles, and a few environmental objects, throw Ori in one direction, and throw the thing I caught in another. And we get to use that to go very, very quick. And it's super fun.
Yeah, if you recall the momentum preservation from dash gliding earlier, well, turns out that momentum preservation is a big thing in this game. Once you bash, if you go to neutral left-right input, then you'll preserve that momentum for your bash and go pretty fast. In addition, just from this first puzzle that Chet just did, you can see how interesting a skill bash is. It's just so unique compared to most other platformers of this type. We're already going to another trick here. Chet dropped a save at a specific point in order to make sure that it's far enough away from the keystone door up here. They're going to collect 3 of these keys, drop into a specific spot, and put the keys in the door while taking a death.
I missed the part of that. I didn't actually put the keys in the door, so we're gonna try again. There we go. You know that's what I wanted.
Perfect. Yeah, that's unfortunate when you get that depth slightly too far away from the door. But yeah, when you get it right, it just returns the keys to your inventory and also respawns you back at your save point. Even though it shouldn't return the keys to your inventory, because when you made the save, you didn't have them. So effectively, it duplicates the keys for you. And now Shed's got 3 extra, which are going to be very, very useful.
Yeah, I'll show that off in a second, turning my UI on. There, I fought another mini-boss. That one's much easier than the first one, since we have Bash now and can just use his own projectiles against him. But yeah, you can see in the top right, I've got 3 keys that I'm not supposed to yet. But, so the top of the Ginso tree here is sort of an escape sequence, and it's really, really cool. And it's one of my favorite parts of the game, and we're not gonna do it.
See you later.
We're instead gonna teleport out of the top of the Ginso tree and completely skip that escape sequence, which, if you've played this game before, also means that we're gonna be skipping cleaning the water, and the water will stay dirty throughout the entire rest of the run, which means it's gonna hurt me whenever I'm in the water.
Yep.
And I'm gonna focus on Swamp Entry real quick.
Yeah, and I'll explain this trick as Shed is doing it. So there's an entrance to the swamp area that is intended to be accessed by stomping either side of this thing, but what Shed is able to do is make use of Bash with this frog here. Accidentally dunked it in the water. It turns out amphibians can't actually swim, but that's fine. It's a pretty quick reload to go back and try it again. The intent is to get the frog into the little nook over to the side there, and oof. This is a tough trick, by the way. This is like one of the hardest tricks.
What is that?
For pretty much everybody. I'm enjoying getting your reactions too on voice before I get to actually And once Shed's able to get the frog into where there's a floor and then a ceiling, what they're going to do is they're going to make use of a trick called a double bash that just allows them to bash a projectile in one direction and then actually follow it with a frame perfect input.
What is happening? I don't understand. Ringo does not want to get thrown around today. Alright, I'm gonna calm down. Let's do it.
You got this, dude.
This frog's name is Ringo, by the way.
Indeed. For reasons that will become apparent in a little bit. You got this.
There we go. I got him up where he needs to be.
Alright.
Now he's gonna shoot a couple projectiles through the floor for good measure, because he's an asshole.
Very, very accurate. So we're into the swamp now. Very nicely done. I don't even think I can overstate how difficult of a trick that is. But Shed, being among kind of the top echelon of Ori runners,
still screws it up way too much.
High standard for their performance. Oh man. All right, but we're into the stomp tree now and picking up the next skill. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's stomp.
Yep, it's sort of a ground pound. And you'll see me use it to head down very fast because it is faster than just falling for most situations. Oh god. We're okay.
So the run is rapidly getting to the parts that are going to be very, very speedy. Basically, everything from this part is just rushing towards 2 main goals. One is to collect the remaining skills, which are on what we very cleverly refer to as the left side of the map. That is to say, the side of the map that is on the left.
Also, those noises are why we named him Ringo. He likes to drum. That's a laser.
It's fine. Sure. It's fine. I'll find out in a few seconds whether or not it's fine. It's very not fun. Okay. Oh, man. And the other goal is to acquire the charge dash skill. And that... Again, Shed was picking up that ability cell using Ringo as a kind of platform, almost a moving platform to do so. Did you get the cutscene skip?
Yep.
Nice. There was a cutscene. Shed skipped it.
It's not there.
Yeah.
It is actually. It's still there technically. If I went back through that area, we'd probably hit it.
So don't do that.
I'll try. All right, here I'm going to do an extended essay. Save anywhere, of course. We saw this earlier at the entrance to Blackroot, but I'm going to move around for a very long period of time behind the menu here. This just saves a little bit of time with skipping a cutscene later. But behind this menu, notably, I'm going to be grabbing Charge Flame, which is a skill we're supposed to have gotten much, much earlier, according to the intended progression of the game. But this is all skills we need to get it, and also getting it unlocks more of this ability tree. There's some of these abilities we wouldn't be able to get without having collected Charge Flame. I'm going to skip a cutscene. Right, I'm going to skip a big cutscene here with an essay. That's the reason I had it up, and continue on.
Nice done. Yeah, the big one right now, the big ability that we gain access to thanks to having finally acquired Charge Flame is Air Dash, and pretty shortly we're also going to get the thing I mentioned a little bit earlier, Charge Dash. But for now, as we're going through Valia, this section is pretty challenging. There's a lot of bash usage, and kind of, you know, Shed playing on KBM, being able to aim your bashes properly requires pretty precise mouse positioning, so it can be very challenging, and you have to do it really rather rapidly. In addition to this area, there's a lot of spikes that start to deal 3 damage minimum, and as it turns out, you only have 4 HP at this point. The fastest route would even only have 3, but Shed took one earlier that only cost him a few seconds. We're also coming into a trick called Fast Stompless, and I'll just go ahead and explain that while Shed focuses on doing it. Basically, you're aiming a shot off the screen at a specific formation of rocks to drop them on top of the main villain, Kuro. But in order to do that, you have to unload a rock wall. Shed did some quick movement, got back to pick up an ability cell, and the shot hit the rocks, and you saw them drop on top of Kuro's head, and now we're picking up the next skill, Kuro's Feather.
Yep, that's also going to teleport us down here right next to it because of how this cutscene works, which is really convenient. I also grabbed another ability cell while doing that because we still need more ability points. But yeah, here's Feather, and also Charge Dash. Charge Dash is an upgrade to Dash that homes in on enemies and is fast and costs an energy, but it's fast, so I'm going to use it a lot.
We also get to do rocket jumps and this tech that Shed is about to do in just a moment called Sorrow Bash, making use of these birds with some precise manipulations on bashes and floating into these dangerous spikes, all of which deal 4 damage, by the way, and Shed was able to make it into Sorrow Pass before actually acquiring the wind restored pickup in Forlorn Ruins. In addition, we're making use of rocket jumps here in order to lure this frog projectile up to break a ceiling and then head on up into the higher part. This rocket jump, by the way it works is just canceling a charge dash and an enemy above you with a jump, and it just causes it to forget to decelerate you. Shed finally made it to the door towards this next skill tree, the charge jump tree, and we're now safe. And we've got another save anywhere up. Why is that, Shed?
We've got this another extended essay here up for a trick coming up called a Terror Break, which we are going to save next to a ceiling, a breakable ceiling that we really can't reach otherwise, and then die while charge jumping, and that's just going to break the ceiling in our way. It's a little bit difficult to see with the essay up here, but that is what happened behind us. Also, I want to mention that Sorrow Bash trick that when I bashed off of the bird to get up into this area, that skips 2 dungeons. So it's pretty major.
Yeah, it allows you to really wreck the sequence of the game at this stage. Normally you're intended to go to Misty Woods, get Climb, go to, and the key to the Forlorn Ruins. Go to the Forlorn Ruins, that's the second dungeon. Complete that, do an escape sequence, do a second escape sequence. Then you've got the wind restored, you can float up into Sorrow, but Shed skipped all of that, came straight to Sorrow, got the charge jump skill, which is normally the last one you would get, and also just acquired the Sunstone, doing one more cutscene skip on that as well to not have to watch a lengthy cutscene. So now we're finally heading out of Sorrow, and I did mention that there was a skill in Misty, it was Climb, so you actually have to get that, which means that is where Shed is going to head next.
You know, I meant to throw Wilhelm off the cliff, and then I forgot.
Aw, it's too bad. Yeah, there's a frog up there on a ledge that Shed just bypassed, where if you throw them off the ledge, you get the Wilhelm screen, iconic for movies. Also, all this movement here through Misty is beautiful and really, really impressive to watch. A technique that Shed is making use of here, you mentioned, Shed mentioned earlier that charge dash costs energy, but it's really fast, so we use it. The thing is, you can actually get it to not cost energy as long as you interrupt it with one of two things, either a bash or a stomp. If you interrupt it with a stomp, you normally have to wait for the windup of the stomp, but you cancel that with a jump, and then you can charge dash again immediately. And that is the technique that you see Shed making use of to chain those charge dashes together in a cool sequence that just makes you go super, super fast.
Yeah, so like right there, it looked like I did 3 charge dashes and didn't spend any energy. That's because I'm using those canceling techniques. So now we've got Climb. Climb is mostly useless, except for one thing that we'll talk about later when it's relevant. But it's a skill, and this is all skills, so we need it. And now I need to leave Misty.
Yeah, so Misty Woods is... The structure of this area is it is intentionally kind of one-directional. You start at the beginning, and then you go in, and the area actually changes as they're going through. Oh, Shed threw in the cool downwards rocket jump. We call that a meteor kick. That looks great when you pull it off. So just enjoy all the movement Shed is doing. But yeah, as you go through this area, it actually mutates and kind of changes around, so you cannot backtrack out other than you just have to finish the actual dungeon. And actually, that we mentioned, there's that banned trick called Teleport Anywhere, which would allow you to make your way out using some blind movement, but we intentionally don't allow that, and so it forces this super fun movement throughout the entire area.
Here's a mini boss. There was a mini boss. Goodbye. Yeah, charge jump and charge dash collectively deal a lot of damage, so we can use that to make that any enemy we so choose kind of evaporate.
I particularly like on that particular mini boss, they shoot projectiles at you, and you can actually, the charge dash reflects the projectile at the mini boss to cause additional damage, which is part of how that quick kill worked that Shed just did. So that's a really neat little minor thing about the game that's just not super obvious, just spectating. But we're heading back to Blackroot Burrows. We're going to get the last skill, is Grenade.
Yep. Blackroot Burrows actually has 2 skills in it, but one of them's fast and one of them's not. So we got the fast one, and now we need to go back and get the other one. Also, technically, you need, or you're supposed to have Stomp to get down here anyway, so we'd have to make a pretty big detour to get this earlier than we do. But we save it for last. Get past some lasers here. Hopefully, don't... Okay, never mind. We're gonna die to those spikes, that's fine.
That's...
Yeah.
I hate that bird. That's fine. Yeah, sometimes that bird that Shed was trying to charge dash at just comes a little bit uncooperative, but fortunately on the second try, we're able to get up there. One last cutscene skip. This cutscene is like 70 seconds long or something, so you definitely do not want to watch it or, I don't know, accidentally level up your ability.
Grenade jumps.
Let's go.
Yeah, so with a combination of climb, charge jump, and grenade, we can perform a glitch called a grenade jump, and it looks like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's what climb and grenade are actually useful for. I'll be using that one more time before we get to its actually important use, which we'll get to when we get to.
But there's more beautiful movement on the way out of here. The way the grenade jump works is just very, very similar to the rocket jump, where it just forgets to slow you down.
Yep.
Shed also picking up a health cell on the way out of here, as remember that thing we mentioned earlier, that the water's not clean? Well, we're gonna need 5 HP because of that.
Yep, we're gonna have to make a swim through some water, and it's technically possible to do it with less than 5, but I am never gonna do it, and I don't think a human's ever gonna do it.
Dude, what are you talking about? The task does it with 3.
Alright, here's another grenade jump, and we have made it to the door of the final dungeon, Mount Horu. Mount Horu is a really cool area that sort of tests all of your skill that you build up as you play through this game casually. And this is a speedrun, so I'm really good at this area. So let's just see how fast I can do all of it. Okay, bye. I did the entire dungeon.
Perfect. One of my favorite tricks, door warp. We basically, if you enter a door on the first frame after loading into the game, it sends you to a particular location, and that particular one is the end of the dungeon. So it's now just the final escape left here, and should be able to wrap up in just a few with one last trick and then misses.
Yeah, this final escape, the first bit of it's pretty easy. I've done it a billion times, but the last sections are still quite difficult. Ow. Okay.
Okay, well, gonna take a quick death. We'll go ahead and talk about the coming thing. There's a bit of a skim through some dirty water in the shed. It's just long enough that you can manage to dash off the fish that are in the water with proper timing to make it out with 4 damage. Absolutely. So that's why we've got 5 HP. Get through that. There's one more trick at the very end called a grenade jump, or called the grenade jump. You're going to line up at a specific position in the wall and grenade jump through the final trigger to start the final cutscenes. And you pull that off and you skip half of the final cutscene.
There we go. So yeah, we had to make it through that precise swim, jumped over a trigger that let me set up this grenade jump, and then do that grenade jump. And as you can sort of see, where he starts walking very early, and we've skipped half the cutscene, just like Lola just mentioned. So time's going to be coming up here pretty soon, when this character that we've literally never seen before and has absolutely no impact on the story whatsoever, besides being Ori's mom, walks behind a tree coming up. And that'll be right about time.
GG.
So yeah, that was Ori in the Blind Forest. It's a really hectic run, if you couldn't tell by the fact that we definitely explained everything, except not. We missed like half of the things that I did.
No, it's fine. If you watch this run, you definitely already know how to speedrun this game.
But yeah, this is a wonderful game, one of my favorite games of all time casually. It's a similarly amazing speedrun. The community's great. It's just a great time all around.
Yo, I agree with all of those statements. GG again, very nice run, man.
Yo, thanks. That was a bit more spaghetti than I would have hoped, but here we are.
Really only the one part.
Yeah. But yeah, so thanks Valuethon for having me back twice this time. This is a wonderful marathon. Save the children this time as well. Good stuff. Great staff. Thanks for having me.